Okay, welcome everyone to another episode of Trek Talk, Daylight Savings Time Edition. I'm TechMan16.
I'm still asleep.
And I'm awake.
Excellent. Good going. So, you guys watch Picard at all?
Yep, actually I did, but I don't
Not
think Andy
yet.
has. Well, can't talk
I'm
about
waiting
it.
for
So
a few more episodes. Give me another week or two, maybe.
Seriously?
Okay, you can go ahead. I don't care. I don't care about spoilers. It's not a big deal. I'll watch it and enjoy it either way.
Alright, Kirk, what'd you think? There's been 2 episodes, I think, so far.
It's not bad thus far. I still think it's a better timeline than ancient killer drones from outer space.
Alright, so I have to know, and I don't understand this, but in Picard, it seems any kind of futuristic tech has to deal with, like, fucking tentacles. What is the deal? Like, somebody's been watching too much anime porn? Like, what
That's
in the fuck?
exactly what it is. Somebody wrote this while they were, beaten off to tentacle porn. Sorry, children.
Yeah, because I'm like
I
first
don't
season.
think, I don't think any children are listening to this shit. I'll fucking hope not.
The title of this episode is called Tentacle Porn. Thank you.
That's probably how to blast out. But yeah, end of season 1, it's like the super synthetics were all tentacles trying to get through that portal, and then like the Borg Queen now has tentacles coming out of her.
You've got to be kidding. Really?
Yeah,
Tentacles?
She's got
Is that
tentacles.
the best they could fucking come up with?
Tentacles, man.
Well, Handy, you didn't see the first episode. Apparently, in the first episode,
No, I haven't.
the Borg tried to use subterfuge. They sent out a request to join the Federation.
Really?
Yeah.
Good God. They're just driving Picard right into the fucking shitter. Let's completely forget all the canon around Borg, and let's just do whatever the fuck we want with Borg, huh?
Well,
yeah.
It's still leaps and bounds better than that shit ass Discovery show.
At least it was canon. For the most part. Kinda. No, I guess I could argue that too. Never mind. I'll shut up.
So they're trying to take some of the more well-known episodes in the Next Generation and try to make it a serialized 10-hour movie in the new style. And I know, like, personally, it's not working very well for me.
I liked Q in it.
Yeah, Q is cool. Q is Q. But I don't know, like it feels like it's been done before. Many a time.
Honestly, the way that Star Trek has been going, I sort of welcome some rehashes at this point. I'm interested in seeing something familiar because they've deviated so far from what Star Trek historically was. And because of that, they just went too far. And I think it's time to pull it in a little bit and give us something that we're comfortable with, that we're familiar with. Stop trying to experiment at this point. You've done enough. You have the crying inclusivity show. That's all well and good. Leave that where that is and give us something that we know and understand.
Although working together with the Borg Queen?
Well, I mean, it's not unheard of. I mean, you get it. It's not unheard of to work with the Borg. I mean, Voyager worked with the Borg for species 8472 or whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I find it really weird where they have the collaboration with the new futuristic designs of Star Trek. It feels so weird.
The alternate universe stuff. It was kind of cool. Seeing good old 7 of 9 in sleepwear was also nice, I guess.
Well, yeah, who doesn't enjoy that?
I mean, even at her age now, I mean, she still looks fantastic. So.
I don't think I've seen any recent pictures of her.
She's a little gently used.
It took a minute to come up with that one.
I mean, she's gently used, you know.
I mean, you could say she's got a few more wrinkles on her. You know, that's.
I mean, I don't care. I don't care. She can get a few more. I don't care. I mean, this is, you know, for seven seasons of Voyager, however many seasons she was in Voyager, you know, we got accustomed to looking at her, you know, panty line through her singlet. So, what's a couple wrinkles? We're all right. Sorry, children.
Once again,
it's as if children listen to this show.
Well, I'm sure there's people that listen to the show with their children in the car and whatnot. It's not like we ever say anything that bad, but.
And if you do that, you're a moron. Don't do that.
Oh, bullshit. I've heard you talk all kinds of crap with your kids in the car. Give me that shit.
You haven't heard shit.
Yeah, you fucking liar.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull let me pull a page out of MBD's playbook. Was that recorded or screenshotted?
No, it was not. It didn't happen. God damn it! I'm sorry.
It must not.
I should have recorded.
Yeah, quit trying to run the server, Nona. I mean, Handy.
Yeah, you know, I can't help myself. You know, it's apparently the what I live for.
It's the thrill ride. So I'm interested to see where the show, you know, the Picard show kind of goes, because, you know, I've pretty much identified maybe like 6 episodes that they've ripped off on, and not in the best of ways. But interested to see what they find in Los Angeles in 2024, which is only like 2 years away.
So there's time travel too?
Yeah. Not only that, but they make a gigantic Kirk and Spock reference.
If the people from Discovery had anything to do with it, I'm predicting that when they go to 2024, the event that's going to cause a totalitarian timeline is Donald Trump getting reelected.
Yeah, it was.
I hope they don't bring real life politics into this shit.
They probably will. They'll figure out how to reference it.
This is new Trek, man.
They'll figure out how to reference it. And as much as I love Patrick Stewart, he's anyway. He's like a quarter step away from a communist.
So, in this timeline, they reference that the Borg Queen is equivalent to Spock.
Wait, what?
Well, I don't think they didn't say equivalent, but they were talking about complex mathematical equations, and the Borg Queen obviously has the knowledge of every race ever assimilated, so obviously she would be like a supercomputer, you know? So
yeah, perfect.
So I don't think they're. I mean, that's what they're saying. They had Spock, and they're like, "What do we have?" And they were like, "She can do it." And so, I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I can buy that.
Whatever. You don't know yet. You haven't seen it. Shut the fuck up.
I can still speculate.
You can speculate. Well, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm interested to see. I do enjoy it. The 2 episodes. I mean, at the same time, I think by now, It's kind of like if all you ever had to eat was like saltine crackers and tuna, and then you finally get to a point where you can have like some boiled eggs and ramen. You know, it's like it's still not ideal, but at least it's not Discovery. I mean, saltine crackers and tuna. So
yeah, at least it's not Discovery.
Yeah, that's what this show, the episode of this, the name of this episode is going to be called. At least it's not Discovery.
And tentacle porn.
That's just good.
Or tentacle porn together, because everybody would be crying and getting fucked. So, at the same time. Anyway, so as we move forward here, we're gonna do some house cleaning real quick while we still have everyone's attention. Now, if you read some of the Discord, you'll know that there were some conversations going on about some things in Server 34. Server 34 has a pretty big war going on amongst the top alliances, and everybody's bickering back and forth, yada, 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 yada. We've all heard about it, right? And we're going to hear a little bit more about it in detail, which is actually pretty interesting, and I'm the type of person who hates hearing about Server 34. So it will be fun, so stay tuned. But the one thing I'm going to say is this. Obviously, we're extremely lenient here on this Discord. We're extremely lenient on the show. We don't care if you curse. We don't care if you make adult references. Obviously, if there are pictures or some sort of explicit image or things that are a little bit too graphic, we ask that you put that in the not safe for work category, because that is part of Discord's terms of service. They do require that anything explicit be behind a not safe for work warning filter. So that's the only thing that we ask. So it's pretty simple. However, ... Pause for effect. When you get to the point that you are so upset with someone that you start to try to drag other aspects or other areas of their lives or what they do into it, so just to hurt them because you're so upset, you have a mental health issue. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. So if this offends you, fuck you. How about that? Get yourself fixed. I do. What I'm talking about is that there were two people in particular, one being Raz from Dark in Server 34, and the other one being Fluffy from MBD in Server 34. Now, it's no secret, I don't care for Raz. Raz has said some really horrible things in the past, especially directed at women in particular. So I'll let you use your imagination. We're not going to get into that here. However, so just in case somebody accuses me, no, I absolutely don't like this person. I think this person's not a good person at all. And I mean that in real life. The things that I've seen said, I wouldn't want this person around my friends or family. That being said, the other person, Fluffy, I don't have a problem with at all. I've never had a problem with you. But what I do have a problem with is these people attempting to call into question the integrity of this server. Now, this server, no one has ever deleted anything unless it violates terms of service. I deleted something one time because someone posted a GIF of a stick figure swinging his dick around in a thing that was not behind a not safe for work wall. Now, could that be construed explicit content? Here's the thing. I'm not Discord. It doesn't explicitly say, so I was better safe than sorry. And I even addressed it. I said, hey, I deleted this. Make sure you put that stuff behind this filter, please. It was announced. Not a big deal. So those are the only times anything's ever going to be deleted. But what these people were trying to do is insinuate that we delete things all the time and that we were consistently censoring people. If you try to do things like that because you're so butthurt or you have an issue yourself or you have an issue with someone else, and what you're trying to do is sabotage something else that they're involved with, that's a problem. If you're going to try to, because you have an issue with myself or Handy or Tech or Boom, and it's a personal issue or an issue that happens inside STFC amongst alliances, but you try to drag this server, this Discord server, and this show into it by questioning the integrity of the show and the Discord, you will be kicked and banned and you will never be allowed back on the server. We're not going to tolerate that. That's ridiculous. We work really hard. We worked really hard to put this Discord together, and have a place where everybody can come and say what they want to say. Now, you can go back through there, and people that are attacking us, none of those comments have been deleted. You can read about it because we don't believe in censorship. So the fact that someone doing that just to hurt us in some way, that's ridiculous. It won't be tolerated, and that will absolutely get you banned. If it happens again, there will be no warning. I'm not going to send you a message and say, hey, don't do that. You're just going to all of a sudden find out that there's no Trek Talk Discord tab on the left-hand side of your screen. That's ridiculous. Stop being a child. If you have an issue, you can address it to the person directly. That is the equivalent of having a personal problem with someone and trying to sabotage their work or their car or something like that. You know it is. This is not debatable. This is not a discussion. Thank you. Finn.
Well put. I did kick somebody the other day.
What'd you
but
kick
I didn't. They annoyed me. And then I messaged them and apologized and had a conversation about it.
You censored people.
I sent him an invite back. But, fuck, I'm human. I make mistakes.
Well, the situation was rectified.
Well, I mean, I think so. I don't know if it came back or not, but I felt bad because I realized that's stupid.
And let's be honest here. Sometimes there are people that are going to make mistakes. The X factor being a human being, and human being to err is human, right? So if you do have a problem and you do and something does happen, if you work to rectify the mistake, you make it public knowledge that you've acknowledged that you've made a mistake. The situation is resolved. There is no issue. The issue is fixed. It's like a pothole that's been covered up. It's fine now. It's good. But it's the constant, we're upset because there's nothing else that we can do, and we're so angry. We're going to pretend that we're not angry, but we're going to try to sabotage this project that you've been working, that's literally been, almost 2 years in the making, that you've been working really hard on, and we're just not going to tolerate that. You're just a hater. If you could do what we do, you do it, but you don't. So sit back, shut up, and either enjoy the show or leave the fucking server. We don't care.
Yeah, on top of that, I'll just add, stop questioning the integrity of the people running the server. This is not some sort of slanted viewpoint, about some stupid thing that happens on server 34. Okay, this is not about that. This is about something bigger in terms of a greater community. So those comments haven't been deleted either, but I was getting really close to kicking those people.
Yeah, so Fluffy, Raz, you people like you, don't do that shit anymore. Knock it off. And you can rage quit like some of, here, hold on a minute. You can rage quit like some of your teammates. That's fine. It's unfortunate. We love to have everybody here. We love everybody to be participating. And believe it or not, even the negative comments, I love it, because what it's doing is it's not only giving us content, but it's creating some form of dialogue. There's talking, so, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a community where everybody's involved. And you got to stop. We're not going to tolerate that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The cannon fodder from 34 is excellent. Everybody else in every other server can look at 34 and be like, wow, we aren't that crazy. Let's all get along.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty much. But, and like I say, I mean, I love to have people here.
By the way, I think Fluffy just kind of got caught up because of Raz, personally.
The thing is that, like I said, I've already given my opinion, so I'm not just going to sit here and just berate somebody. So you already have my opinion, but I will say that people like that they live for that type of attention. It's an attention thing. And it's just that this is not the place for that. Go to your Discord and do that. Go elsewhere and do things like that. Where that type of stuff where you can catch that bait. But here we're not about that. Yeah, I might call you a moron. I might call you a piece of shit because it's my opinion. And honestly, it is what it is. It's going to stay up. You can call me the same thing if you want. If you get too explicit and you want to start saying things that are too explicit about me, then please go to the Not Safe for Work channel and say those things, because we don't want to. I just don't, again, and I don't want to run into any issues with like I said, we've worked hard for this community. I don't want to run into any issues from Discord saying, hey, you're letting this stuff slide. That's not okay. Which is why this leads me into a next positive point. I have made an announcement that we are looking for some moderators. I touched on it earlier, but that was before we were recording. So we're looking for some moderators. How many? Honestly, at this point, there's not really a number, because this community is growing exponentially. We started the server a month and maybe a week or so prior, and we were already at somewhere close to 450 members. So this server is growing quickly, and with that, we're going to need some help. So we're looking for moderators, preferably not from 34 or 45, just because we're so 34 and 45 heavy. We want everybody to get an opportunity to be involved. So I've already had several people hit me up, and by the way, 34 and 45 people, you're not necessarily excluded. It's just a preference. So if you come to me and you say, hey, I'm interested, which several have, and you historically are a level-headed, neutral type person, you absolutely have a shot. It's just, as I said, preference. I want to spread it out amongst the other servers. I want this to be a true community server. So if you're interested, please shoot me a PM, and just let me know which server you're from if I'm not familiar with who you are already. And within the next, possibly even today, I might start contacting you individually and getting you set up with some permissions so that you can start moderating for us, and then we'll jump into a voice chat or something so we can all run down what needs to be done. But anyway, that's it for house cleaning from me. I appreciate it. I think Handy has some information on the recent developments of the big war in Server 34.
Well, it's more like I would like to talk about it. I'm curious at what people really think.
I just got reminded of the
I don't
old Bill Cosby.
I want to have a discussion.
It sounded like today. It's like almost like a Bill Cosby thing. Like, I would like to talk to you about some of the things on your show.
Oh, good God.
You forgot the crazy stuff that he says at the end. There you go. That's true. That's in true Bill Cosby fashion. Actually, what I'm interested in knowing is, does anybody else from another server who's been reading this call this firestorm of extreme hatred would like to comment on what happens on 34?
Yeah, I'm curious what people think.
Outside
and I'm also curious what people think why we're now at war with Dark as well as MBD.
Anyone from a different server? Anyone?
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
I'll just bring up people randomly. Stargazer. How's it going? Welcome back.
Hey.
How you been? Good morning.
I've been doing good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Excellent. I might say. Maybe.
My week could have gone better, let's just say. But that's neither here nor there right now. So, tell us your opinions, because you read all this stuff. You're pretty active on the server.
Oh, yeah. I just laugh. Just blow them all up. Spread those pickles out.
So I guess they're doing good in this point, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's getting involved into it. There's a lot more people at war with one another. A lot more people with unfriendly confrontations. Have the chat bans, Handy, have the chat bans stopped, or are they still going?
They've stopped, as far as I know, which is great. Because in reality, I don't think anybody wants their account taken away or permanently banned, whether they say bad stuff or not. So,
I'm sure Inko or any other super mega whale is going to have a shit fit if their account gets permanently banned over something they say.
Well, no shit. But that's kind of where we were headed. It's like, I mean, you just start mass reporting people for ridiculous bullshit. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? I mean,
So
legitimate complaints aside.
So outside the whole war thing, I think that's positive that people have learned to stop weaponizing the chat ban. But
I mean, it seems that way to me. I haven't heard any reports of it, at least on our side. So, and here's the one saving grace of this whole conflict is truly, I believe, the people in MBD actually do have a good head on their shoulders, a few of them, and want to do right, want to be good people, want to do the right thing at the end of the day. But little pride get in the way and all that other crap we all like to do,
Okay, so let's walk back for me because I haven't really logged in game for a good while. Why is Dark technically now involved?
Oh, so this is a good one. So I have it on good authority that MBD, and I mean, everybody can really kind of tell. I mean, MBD wanted to talk. They wanted to end it. And we were totally willing to do that as long as we could come to terms. And I have it on good authority that we were, from MBD's side, that they were ready to come to terms with us. The specifics, I don't know internally. I just know what they've said publicly. But from what I understand is they were ready to end it. And then specifically Lethal Weapon and Kevin butted in.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck their nose right up there and just butted right in. And basically screwed up any chance of peace. Because now, I mean, we all know that the minute you come in to a conversation that's already happening and you puff your chest up and go, hey, you better do this, immediately everybody's going to take a step back and go, nah, how about fuck you? I ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? I mean, that's natural. I mean, that's humanity. That's just who we are. So exactly. I just don't understand why Dark got involved, why they thought it was a good idea. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I believe they got involved because they wanted it to keep going.
Yes,
because that's the only thing that tracks in my head. It's the only thing that makes sense. That they wanted to join the war. Now, why they didn't just come out and say that, I don't know. Because nobody would fault them for it. Fine, you want to join the war? That's fine. No big deal. Fucking join the war. Who gives a shit? It's a goddamn game.
So to back up, I kind of want to explore this. What do you mean they came in and puffed their chests?
I mean, okay, so if you want to get specifics, Lethal Weapon and Kevin apparently had a quote-unquote meeting with people at MBD and got the skinny on what was going on, and then they came to us, threatened us with war if we didn't accept MBD's deal. Now, MBD's deal did not address all of our concerns, so we said no, respectfully. We appreciate that you're, and this is all in the Diplo channel. You can read it if you want. Everything's posted in there, all the screenshots from all of this. Kevin threatened war. We said, seriously, you're going to go to war with us because of this? Like, why are you butting in? We were talking just fine with MBD. It's not like we were at an impasse where we weren't talking to each other. Like, conversations were still going on in that channel. And then Lethal Weapon and Kevin just butt right in when Darius was doing an excellent job himself. By himself. He didn't need anybody help moderating it, but they decided they wanted to. And we could speculate on why. I have my guesses. I think Dark wants to infiltrate big alliances on the server and steal their power players, because that's what they've done in the past, either on purpose or, just because that's what happens when you ally with another big alliance. You end up taking their power players.
Oh, of course it's on purpose. Let's just be real here.
I'm giving them an out, but yeah, we know that's what they're doing. So why they don't admit that too, I don't understand, because it's not a big deal. You want to go vampire another alliance? If I could just be honest about it. Hey, we want to vampire you. Let's all play together. Big circle jerk. Yay. So once again, it's all this like, oh no, we're just, we're just being friends. I just don't buy it.
Mm-mm.
So,
I've seen that a
where
mile
was I?
away.
Yeah, it's just par for the course. Lots of people do that shit. It's ridiculous. Just say your piece, say what you mean, be honest. All this beating around the bush crap. It's sickening. So anyways, so Dark, Kevin specifically, got involved, and he's gonna be so pissed at me. I guarantee you he's gonna be hunting me forever for what I'm saying today. I mean, he got involved. I'm sorry, Kevin. I don't dislike you, buddy, but goddamn it, you should have stayed out of this mess, and it would have been over. Like he literally told us that it's because of server health is why he got involved. That he felt it was necessary for him and Dark to get involved for server health. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Now we have two big alliances at war instead of one. Like, they called our bluff. What are we going to do? It's a fucking game. No, I mean, all we have is our word. We said, you fuck around, find out. So we declared war on them. I mean, what else are we going to do? Anybody else that wants to fuck around and find out, and other teams, they're going to find out too. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it. We've gone for years telling people, peace, peace, peace. Just fucking play your game, have a good time. It's all good. And we haven't really brought war to anybody except for MBD. But everybody wants to get involved. They want to cry about server health. Look, server health is a great thing. I've advocated it. I think it's awesome. There's no reason to be hating on people and making them quit the game. That sucks. You don't need to do that. But war isn't going to make somebody quit the game. 9 times out of 10, all it does is draw people deeper into the game, and they have more fun. At least in my experience. So anyway, long story short, another tangent. So they get involved, and we try warning them, try asking respectfully to stay out of it. They didn't. And the fact is, MBD was about to come to terms with us. We were working it out, and they stuck their nose in, and then MBD completely clammed up and stopped talking, and they let Dark talk on their behalf, which obviously we have no issues with Dark. We don't dislike Dark. We don't care what Dark does. If they want to vampire alliances, totally cool with us. They want to be the number one alliance on the server, totally fine. Do whatever. We just don't care. We just want to play our game and have a good time. That's it. But for some reason, they're coming after us. So, they're sticking their nose into situations that didn't involve them. And now recently, we told them, so part of our war is to go after MBD's territory, because if you're going to win a war, you attack on all fronts, right? So we're not going to leave their territory alone. We got to go after it, right? But then we have a whole bunch of alliances jumping in, defending MBD, defending their territory, like it's some sovereign state, like we're invading, we're invading China over here or something. Like it's territory. It's like, if you can hold on to it, great. If you can't, then you don't deserve it. That's what we've all decided, right? But MBD's inserting themselves. They're stacking, like literally sent a bunch of their players into MBD so they wouldn't lose their territory. And we're like, look, this is an act of war. Like, we're warning you. Like, you guys got to stay out of it. And they didn't want to do it. They called our bluff. They said, well, we're going to do whatever we want to do. And I believe Kevin said, we love both of you guys. We have no problems with either alliance. And we're like, okay, then why are you siding with MBD? If you have no stake in this and you're trying to respect both alliances, then stay out of it. The fact is they're taking a side. So not only are they disrespecting Nona, but they're disrespecting MBD as well. And I'll tell you why. Because if they hadn't stuck their nose into this situation, MBD would be out of this war. It'd be done. MPD, their little sister alliance, we've already dropped. And they're out of the war. Salt's out of the war. Nobody wants anything to do with it. But these big teams keep coming after Nona. So we're just going to keep fighting. I mean, we have a lot of people that are just fine to continue fighting forever if need be. They're enjoying themselves either way. It's just a game. So if, they would prefer, our people would prefer to not be at war, but they're fine with it. And we're just going to keep doing it. So if people truly want peace, then talk. And stay out of other people's bullshit. Don't stick your goddamn nose where it don't belong.
So does that mean Nona's going to go after Dark's territory too?
It doesn't mean anything.
Just curious.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. They may come after our territory. Nona could lose all of its territory because of this war. It's just whatever. Who gives a shit? It's just TC. We've already gotten everything we needed it out of it. The fact is in this game, there's really nothing you can do to stop people from playing the game and having a good time. This is not a war game. Like, there's nothing you can do to the other person. There's a repair button. You know what I mean? There's just nothing you can do. There's nothing anybody can do. Wars are ridiculous. It never works. Look at all these other servers we've talked to. Been at war for 2 years. So if an alliance is united and has good leadership and has a good core of good people like MBD does, for example, I believe they are a good alliance. They have a good core of people there. Truly. They have a few bad actors like Mud, but even he is not a bad guy, I don't think. I think he just acts a fool. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You're not going to get what you want by battling them. You're just not. It's just going to keep going on forever.
What was the deal with Dark proposing like Little Dark's territories for Salt? I remember reading something about that at one point.
Yeah, so apparently Dark came in at well, here's what I think happened. I think MBD reached out and was like, hey, we're looking at options. Dark was like, yeah, Little Dark will give up all their territory and we'll get them other shit somewhere else. And Salt can have it. I mean, that's great. That's great for Salt. And we wanted to accept that deal, but at the end of the day, the rest of the terms weren't met. It didn't address our issues. It didn't stop the bullshit trolling, the personal attacks on people, the reporting, all the other stuff. However, we did already agree that no on the reporting crap, but it didn't address everything else. And also the whole propaganda stuff, the whole sneaking around behind people's backs and basically bringing up super old history or basically just manipulating people to come after us. Like we wanted to address, we wanted to talk about it. All it would have taken is a voice conversation, I believe. A candid, honest voice conversation and some dialogue back and forth. And we would be at peace right now. It wasn't that big of a deal, but the resistance to talk about it. The reluctance to acknowledge what happened is making it worse. Like, if you don't deal with your problems, it makes it worse, right? Like, that's when things fester and get worse. Like, all we wanted to do is address the issues that we had and address any issues they had and talk about it. It wasn't a big deal. But every day that goes on, it becomes more and more of a deal. Everybody wants to avoid talking about it and just wants to fight it out. And okay, fine.
So I guess with the fighting going on, with more fighting, if you will, what have you seen in terms of, what kind of fights have there been? What kind of strategies have been done or used? Something about there was Dark was stacking MBD for a territory defense. Were you guys able to break through, or did you guys and then defeat?
No. We lost that TC. We didn't have the participation we needed that day in the middle of the week. And they stacked them pretty good. So, and they must have riled their troops really well too. MBD is good at defending their TC. They have had a lot of practice at it, at taking TC and defending TC. So they're a tough team to beat if they're getting stacked like that. But for example, like Salt, which is way lower power, almost beat them, right? With I think 3 players that we stacked in there with them.
But that's without Dark stacking MBD, right?
Yeah. And then Dark stacked MBD. I don't know how many players, but they put a lot, like maybe 6, 8 or something like that, somewhere in there. Because I think Dark's numbers were down, I think 5 players, 5 or 6 players. So maybe like 6, 5, 6. And then they also brought in people from other alliances. There were a bunch of people there from other alliances. And then they brought in, TBD, Wolf, Dark. Well, there was somebody else. I don't know. They just brought in a whole bunch of alliances, and it was just a lag fest. There wasn't much we could do. And we didn't have enough participation. So we didn't win this week, but that's okay. We've been through this before. If everybody will remember, when we went up against Most for TC, we lost, 3 weeks in a row or something, 4 weeks. And what did we do? We just kept coming back till we won, because that's what NONA does. So
has any of the fighting spilled into outside of TC, or is it just localized in TC?
I know it's everywhere. We're at war. But it seems to me like, for the most part, it's just people hitting bases and then hitting miners. That's about it. So from the reports we're getting from our members, they're still able to play the game just fine, even being at war with MBD and Dark.
Really? So you
Yeah.
don't go to double deep space
People are
and blow up
obviously
ships?
still having issues. They get caught sometimes playing their game. Of course. So it probably takes, instead of an hour to do all your events, maybe it takes an hour and a half.
I'm gonna bring Smooth up here. Smooth, come here. No, you're fine. Smooth says he can't talk. He's busy warring. So, all right, Smooth, I'll talk for you. How about this? What do you do? Do you hunt everywhere? Like double deep space, super deep space, regular deep space, regular space?
Oh yeah, we're everywhere. I already know that. Our AC
Nice.
these days is just a long string of targets.
So Smooth says he got all 5 ships in space right now, minimal for events for him. And okay, so you got your 5 best warships, right? Just going out there and just blowing people up. Nice, good. All right, yeah, because Smooth is like Smooth is the incarnation of 45, like from everything. So like, I'm just gonna hit everybody everywhere when I'm online.
Yeah, and truthfully, we
Too bad
have a
Booms.
lot of players like that. Like, you don't know how hard. Like, look, Server 34, you have no idea how hard we work in Nona in the past, our leadership team. No idea how hard we work to keep our players from destroying everybody. Like, they just don't know. They don't get it. Like, look, we've pretty much been at peace for like 2 years, like except for little squabbles here and there that last a week. Like, we've all worked really hard to address everybody's concerns and talk to people and not be assholes, and we try and check ourselves and all that kind of shit and hold each other accountable. But at some point, fuck, our players are just tired of getting attacked personally for just playing a game. And yeah, so the leashes are off. You know, I mean, you look how ugly it is now. I mean, that's how ugly it could have been a year ago or 2 years ago, but we kept the reins relatively tight. And now the leashes are off. So
how about you, Handy? What do you personally do in terms of war efforts, if you will?
you know, to be totally honest, I don't do a ton. I'll usually spend an hour or 2 a day when I have time. So like, I'm gone pretty much all day, and then I got my dogs and all that other crap. So usually I'll get home, have dinner, sit down, do all my events for about an hour, and then I'll spend a couple hours killing people.
What do you go for in terms of targets?
Targets typically all either just hit targets that are being called out in our AC, or I'll join any battles, or I like to set up if I'm paying attention, I like to set up miners and just wait for them to come to me. But
All right,
that's
Kirk, what do you do?
attention. I've got ADD, so I get distracted easily, and then I come back a minute later and all my miners are dead and they're already gone. And then I'm like, oh fuck.
Me? Were you asking me, Tech? I'm sorry, I'm sitting here eating a bowl of
Yeah.
egg.
I'm asking what do you do during wartime?
Not really anything different. With MBD, I took a bit of a break from the game, and I'm just now easing back into it. But like with MBD, with MBD and Nona, at least they have some reasons to fight. So if I saw people, I would blow them up, or try to anyway. My give a fuck factor has been reduced so much that my leveling up has taken a back seat. Like I sort of play the game to complete the events and just enjoy myself nowadays. So I'm not as I'm not like number 65 in power like I was a year and a half ago. So I've fallen considerably. So I'm not much to speak of, but I would hit some stuff if I saw it. But as far as with Dark getting involved, interestingly enough, just because Dark has no business being involved, I've purposely been seeking him out. So I'll cloak up and go into the TC. And my favorite thing to do is to wait for somebody else from Nona to blow everybody up. And it'll usually be someone that can't be answered, like OB or Smooth or even Inko. Somebody that they can't really defend against it. They don't really have much going on as far as that. And then so that when they leave, they'll send their miners back out, and that's when I'll wait for about a minute or two for them to get a little complacent, and then I'll start smacking miners again. I normally don't do things like that. It's just that I guess I feel a little more strongly about this one that it's none of their business. So I'm actually actively involved in this. Whereas normally during wars, it's just sort of passive. If I see your ship, I'll blow you up, kind of thing.
So your goal is just attacking dark, if you will.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I'll occasionally go through MBD territory, but for the most part, there's nobody mining. I don't. Maybe I get on when they're not online or whatever the thing is, but there's never really anybody mining, except for like sometimes it'll be like some super low level person. And to be quite honest, man, if they're really like low level, like I went in there the other day and there's some dude in like mid 30s or low 30s or something, I just left them alone. You know, like what's the fucking point? You know, I'm ops 43 and this person's like 34 or 35. That's like going and like kicking a toddler in the face and bragging to your friends that you want a fist fight. Like it just doesn't, you know, nothing against them personally. I'm not saying like, you know, they're weak as a person. It's just that account level. I mean, they don't really have anything that they could fight me with. So to me, what's the point? But yeah, with Dark, yeah, I don't care what level you are. I'm gonna eat your shit. So
I just logged in to look at the Power Destroyed boards, and jeez, Chef is gonna go down, man. He's been up there forever, and he's gonna get passed by Smooth soon and Aggie, and I'm assuming that is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's coming up there. Lots of
The
Power
bummer
Destroyed
part,
going on.
the bummer part though, is all these numbers. They're all the alliance numbers are all messed up now because all of our big players from all these teams have left and come back, except for MBD. They haven't gone anywhere, but like Nona and Dark, all of our big players have left the alliance to stack other alliances for TC. And when you do that, all the alliance leaderboards, you lose those numbers for the alliance.
I see that.
So all those stats are all wrong, you know.
Yeah, wow, look at MBD. The 10.3 billion Power Destroyed, and Nona's down there 5.3 billion. MCRN 4.3, Dark 2.4, Wolf 1.8. That's hilarious.
right, well, because it goes with all that's based on the total number for members. You know.
No, it's
Right.
the no, it's not. It's
No,
power
you
destroyed while you're in the alliance.
right. So if you leave the alliance, you lose all that Power Destroyed.
So like for instance, we were up almost at 12 million or something like a month ago. Or maybe less. I don't remember when it was, honestly. Maybe somebody can correct me if they know. But yeah, we were up at like 11 point something or whatever. And then we all left to stack salt. And of course it dropped. But I've seen people like putting the numbers up as like an example. And we're like, dude, come on. And there's
Man, I'm gonna tell
also.
you. I want to tell you something, and this goes for anybody listening. If you think, and I'm gonna say this with 100% confidence, I've thought it through, and I mean it. If you think that any of those leaderboards mean anything at all, or are indicative of anything, whatever you want to say, we're winning the war, we're doing this, we're doing that. If you think that, you're a fucking idiot. You've been playing the game long enough now to know that it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Just like your top raters back in the day. I used to say the rating leaderboard was the only leaderboard that was the cleanest you could get as far as a representation of somebody's hard work. Because you to raid to get those numbers, you had to at least put in the time, and people could be like, well, you know, people could just when they're leading the game, they give you a bunch of resources, and you can cheat the system. That's fine. You still have to spend hours on hours of click, recall, click, recall. So you still had to put in the numbers. Now, since the amalgam, you had people that were once at the top of the leaderboard that spent years, literally years, to where they're at. In a matter of less than a week, some level 37 with an amalgam shot. So none of those leaderboards mean a fucking dick. Quit looking at them. It don't mean shit.
You're cutting out a little bit.
I'm done. That was probably Discord's way of telling me to shut the fuck up.
Maybe. Yeah, but anyway, we've got TBD nipping at our heels, Wolf. Like, these alliances are going to get dragged into this war too if they're not careful. Just saying. Because at this point, it doesn't matter to our members. It's like, fuck, what's another alliance? Doesn't matter. It's not going to change our game at all. There's more targets.
Why are Wolf and TBD nipping at your heels?
They just keep getting involved in the TC bullshit. Because the fact is, the only reason we're going after MBD's territory is because we're at war. If we weren't at war, we'd leave them alone.
I'm
If
going
they
to say
hadn't
this
lied
right
to
now.
us, this whole thing wouldn't have happened.
I'm going to make an announcement. And if you're in server 34, please feel free to circulate it amongst your members. I'm going to put it to you like this. At this point, it's no secret. You know, I play the game at 15% of the enthusiasm that I once had. If this war is not resolved in, excuse me, what is it, 72 hours? 3 days? 3 days from now, if this war is not resolved, I'm leaving NONA. I'm starting an alliance of non-ROE, and I'm going to start clearing everyone's territory. So I've had some interest from people in some alliances that want to do that. They're interested in doing that. I think they're just afraid to do it on their own because they don't want to be the only one. But I don't mind.
But SK, we all know that that's not sustainable. That's not a way to play the game. That's not going to progress you in any way, shape, or form. You just become a salty.
Yeah, but see, that's the benefit. See, I don't care about progression anymore. We've established that. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah, well, why fuck up other people's gameplay just because you don't care?
Well, why? To quote the immortal Dave Chappelle, because fuck them. That's why.
Yeah, whatever. You do you. I'm just saying that doesn't sound like fun to me. I'd rather be part of a team.
Well, I am. I'm gonna be the one-man wolf pack. But seriously, it's something I've been thinking about it. In all seriousness, I'm making a bunch of jokes here, right? I'm just trying to ruffle people's feathers. But in all seriousness, I am getting sick of it, and that timeline still stands. But I'm just gonna go do my own thing, not because he's running me off. Believe me, I'm still finishing all of my dailies. I'm still doing anything. Nothing you guys are trying to do. It's not hurting me at all. Like, I need you to understand that. Know that. Take it to the bank. Invest in that shit because it's 100% true. It's just for me. I just don't want to have to spend as much time like logging back in, repairing ships, and putting it back out. I just don't, because I do enjoy the PvE aspect of the game. I enjoy like the grind a little bit and getting the achievements and stuff like that. But it's just exhausting dealing with you people. It just really is. And Tech had talked about it at length. I've talked about it with some other people. It's just exhausting. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna start hitting OPL again.
I still think, Kirk, that that's a you problem, not a server problem.
What do you mean?
I think you going solo and starting a little dry hitting rampage is a you problem, not a server problem.
No. I just said that was a joke. You gotta listen. Gotta listen, Handy.
Oh,
Pay attention.
okay. Gotcha.
I said it was a joke. I said the serious part is actually starting my own thing, and if people want to come along. But like I said,
that's cool.
And I'm gonna
That's
start and
I respect that.
not to say that I wouldn't want to return to normal gameplay one day or something like that. It's just this is just exhausting. You know, it just is. It's ridiculous. It's childish. Everybody and the people from all sides involved. You know, there's a bunch of finger pointing, but honestly, the age-old saying that every time you point a finger at someone, there's at least three, pointing right back at you. It holds true. You know, a lot of people need to take if everybody involved would just take possession of their bullshit. I mean, this would be done in 5 minutes. You know, and it's just exhausting. And if that happens, then I'm gonna go back to doing the fun stuff I used to do. I'm gonna be hunting OPL. Yes, even in your TCs, whatever. You can't really do anything about it. I'm gonna start doing that stuff again. All the fun stuff that I used to do when I really enjoyed the game, and that's the experience that I want. I want the game that I experienced back, a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. I looked forward to logging into the game. I'd wake up every morning and be like, let me check on my whatever. Oh, they got my miner overnight. Oh well, or hey man, I went OPL by 200,000 and they didn't even hit me. Sweet, that type of stuff. It was fun, and we don't really get that anymore. And I think that's what I'm looking for. So, if anybody's interested in that shit, holler at me, because I have a feeling that that's what's coming, at least for me.
Fair enough. But if you leave Nona during a war, you're probably not going to be welcome back. Just saying.
Oh, that's fine. I don't. I enjoy Nona, but I just don't care, man.
I know you haven't been involved much lately in the Alliance stuff. I get it. It's not for everybody.
So,
But goddammit, it's fun sometimes. The voice chats and we have so much fun
I
hanging
just
out
think,
and blowing people up. Oh my god.
yeah, that is cool. Like it is, but it's just like I really love cheeseburgers, but if I have to eat cheeseburgers every day for a year, probably by day 90, I'm gonna be like, hey man, can I get like a
Yeah, but
salad?
dude, the same thing can be said for this game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, and once again, that's a you problem.
Yeah,
But
I'm
if
not doing.
if you can eke out some more enjoyment from this game by switching it up, highly encourage it. Tech did it. He did it for quite a while, and he got a lot of enjoyment out of the game until he literally got picked on by Dark. A few
Yeah,
Dark players picked on him to the point where he said, "Fuck it, I'm not playing anymore." Because truthfully, there are some people in Dark that are just a mean kid with a magnifying glass over an anthill.
I think a lot of those people are. I mean, those people are everywhere, you know.
Oh, we've got a couple in Nona. I know who they are.
A lot of those people have large,
However,
incontrollable urges to use their credit cards. Let's put it that way.
yeah. However, we have checks and balances, whereas most alliances do. And I don't believe Dark does at the moment because all of their leaders at any point in time just decide they don't feel like doing it. And literally, depending on the month, who you ask who's leading Dark changes. It's freaking ridiculous. They're
I don't think anybody really leads Dark. There's no leadership structure there.
it feels like from the outside looking in, and obviously I have no idea what goes on inside Dark. And I know there's a lot of really good people there. I know Pars was there for a while, and he really enjoyed playing with Dark because there's a lot of good people there. There's a lot of power, a lot of talent, a lot of knowledge. But sometimes they're just seen as an angry mob. It's just what it is. Like a rudderless ship. But, it's not a judgment. It's just an observation. I mean, I think Dark has been very successful doing it the way they're doing it. So whatever, it works. So who cares? They can do whatever they want.
Well, it's almost like
different.
it's almost like it's strategic because nobody really knows who's actually in charge. So if shit goes south, nobody really knows who to complain to.
Exactly. Maybe they're doing
Like,
something right over there. To be
I'm
totally
not even
honest.
being. That's what I'm saying. I'm not even being funny. Maybe that's the intention. Maybe they're doing that
It's,
on purpose so they can do whatever they want and everybody can play past the buck.
and you know what's funny is Dark historically has always done whatever they want. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares.
Well, because they pretend they do, but then they pretend that they didn't have a say so. And so it's like,
Nobody cares. Dark just butts into people's business. Apparently, lately, they've started wars over ridiculous stuff. They make
I mean,
unilateral
it's not
decisions and
to be
make every.
to be fair.
They really do the same stuff Nona does that we get bitched at for. There's not a whole lot of difference between Dark and Nona aside from our leadership structure is way more organized.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, that's the way it appears. I could be wrong. So, just take anything I say with it is just my opinion or what I think I see. Could be wrong, but that's just the way it looks. What was
And
my
I mean,
point?
and like I said, I enjoyed. Well, we were talking about how people used to enjoy and how people aren't necessarily bad. I mean, Tech and I had a lot of fun. Tech was in Dark before I was. I was in Most for a while, and then they kind of convinced me to come on over to Dark. I was having some issues in Most, not necessarily with leadership. I just didn't like the direction the Alliance was going. I mean, shout out to Grazi and the rest of the gang there. I really did enjoy my time there at Most. But with then I went to Dark. I really enjoyed it there. It really it was good. Like I would log on and people were, like it's like people enjoyed talking to you and then all of a sudden this shift happened to where we were worried more about somebody's level and there were people that weren't participating. Okay, let me back up. When I first got there, participation was sort of like we wanted they wanted you to be an active player, but like you didn't have to be throwing numbers up on the fucking leaderboard. You know what I'm saying? But then there was this shift, and then they were like, okay, we need you to participate. And I was like, okay, I'm for that. I understand. But then it went to, we were talking about power. And it was all about, we're trying to get our players in there. And it was sort of, it started kind of slow.
You're cutting out.
Oh, Jesus. Hang on a minute, guys. Can you hear me better now?
The history on Most. Summarize. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I'm only asking because my Wi-Fi is taking a dump. Anyway, you wanted the history of what?
No, I just said we don't need a full history on the Most thing, but we get it. They changed.
No, yeah, and
Power
in Dark,
became more important,
changed.
kind of
Yep,
like Dark
and
is
that's
now.
and well, no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Dark. In Dark, they started favoring power, and they started kicking people that were still quite active, but they were being replaced by people who. And I watched the leaderboards and I watched the numbers, so nobody can say I'm lying. I paid attention. That's one of the reasons I left. They started bringing in people who were more powerful, but actually put less points on the fucking leaderboard than the lower level players that they kicked. What does that mean? It can only mean one thing. So anyway, that's my piece.
And what happened was the power players that were coming in were really toxic individuals, and they were allowed to stay in AC
some of them.
and made yes, some of them, not a lot, not all, but we know who they are. They know who they are. Everybody knows who they are, and they made AC toxic, and they made it the worst part of the game to log in, and you see this because I mean I remember seeing after Kirk left, somebody was bitch complaining about like Afrikaners stealing or staging raids or some shit like that, where they were complaining about this one guy hit some guy OPL, so now they're gonna mark that entire alliance friendly so they can raid all their bases, like just that kind of garbage that made the alliance really sour.
I don't know who they are.
He wants you to call out names. Who are those sick, twisted individuals that destroyed
I
Borg?
know, I know what Boom's trying to do.
Who are they,
Well,
Heck?
it's a little
I
bit of
already-
both. Like, yes, I want you to start a little bit of trash talk for the fun, but it is, you know, I've been listening for a while, but I actually I'm not on your server, so I don't know. So I imagine other people that aren't on your server may have thought the same thing, like that. Actually, no, I don't know who you're talking about.
One of the people I already called out earlier. So rewind the show when it comes out and people can hear it. But I already called one of the people out earlier. One of the names. That person's in dark, and just some of the behavior that was allowed. Some of the things that are allowed to be said. I've seen people in other alliances, in most, in Nona. Hell, even in freaking back in the day when I was in wars, I've seen people get kicked for some of the things they've said. And I've seen worse come from some of these people in question, and they're still there. So, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. In some alliances, in most alliances, the higher power level you are, the more an asset you are to that alliance. It's no secret. I've experienced that when I've gone to visit certain alliances, and even be in the lower 40s, like Ops 43 or 42 or whatever, and I join an alliance. They are like trying everything they can because they don't want me to leave. And it's not because I'm like the coolest guy in the world. It's because it's an asset to them. It helps, the ships that I can blow up put a lot more points on the leaderboard for them. I can help defend them during raids, and things like that. So if you get somebody that's a really high level, obviously it just stands to reason they're going to get away with things that the rest of us are not going to get away with. And there's not really, that's pretty much true anywhere,
That is absolutely true. Nona, absolutely gives a
I mean,
longer reach to more powerful players. It's true.
and it's that way anywhere.
Of course it is.
If I was
Because
a
we're not
level 30,
idiots.
yeah, I mean, if I, the only reason, and I'll say this, and right or wrong, it's the truth, and I will call myself out for it. The only reason that I am in Nona still, as vocal as I have been in opposition to some of the things Nona has done. If you could go back and read some of our messages in our Discord, you would be surprised that they allowed me to stay in here. The only reason is because of my friendship with the people at the top. Otherwise, I can almost guarantee you that if I would have just been some Joe Schmo that was more of a casual type player and didn't have relationships with the people in leadership, they would have kicked me out. Not necessarily for anything I've done in public against the team, like sending people PMs talking about their wives, like some people have seen. We have screenshots in our Discord here, saying things like that, but actually being vocal in opposition to the things that Nona has decided to do. I disagree with a lot of it. So I think that to me speaks volumes about the integrity of Nona. Just because, number one, they do allow me to be a little bit more vocal about the opposition. Number one. Number two, the fact that the loyalty means something. The fact that even though I disagree with things that are going on, I'm still here. I'm still participating, and I'm putting up the numbers that I can. So I think that should speak volumes, and I think every alliance has somewhere like that. So it's not an alliance bashing thing. I think it's more of differing opinions, but in this case,
culture. It's a different culture between different
it is.
alliances.
There is absolutely a different culture. We may do a lot of the same things, but the drive behind it is different. Like some people, you get two people that are multimillionaires. One person, they were driven to be a multimillionaire because they grew up poor and they didn't want to see that for their children. And then the other person was just because they had a dream to own their own airplane or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, they're still millionaires, but the drive to get there is different. So I think it's the same way. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, with the exception of a select few people, I enjoy talking to everybody. And I think Handy does too. Tech does. I'm sure Boom does. I'm not in server 45, but I still enjoy talking to a lot of you folks. But it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. This is a social experiment. It really is. And I think that I really wish that somebody that played this game was like a psychologist or psychiatrist or clinical psych. I don't know. I can't ever remember the difference. But Tech, what's the one that does like studies where you do like studies on groups of people and stuff like that, where they do,
That's a psychologist.
on people's, like, for mental health? A psychologist. Okay, so I wish somebody that was a psychologist that played this game would start doing some sort of a case study, like a long-term case study for this social experiment that is STFC.
Where's Jordan Peterson when you need him?
I'm just saying, I think it's interesting. I think that you would really be able to come up with some good data from studying our interactions, and things like that.
I'll tell you personally, I've learned a lot about people just from talking to people in this game. Seriously.
I've also learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
So, anyway, enough about that. We've been going on about Server 34 for a while. Anybody else? Well, Tech, y'all have anything else on this before we kind of move forward here?
I'm good.
Anybody else in the audience have anything you want to come up and talk about that's not
Yeah,
a
we'll
rehashed bullshit?
shut up and let you say your piece. You can say whatever you want. I mean,
Yeah,
within reason.
or anybody from Dark or MBD or anybody from any other alliance want to comment on this, please feel free.
I mean, I would like somebody from Dark to come up and talk, or MBD for that matter. Anybody's welcome. We'll shut up. No bashing. This isn't the trash talk episode.
I imagine that part of the reason that MBD or Dark or anybody else doesn't want to come up is due to some sort of perceived notion that the server is biased against everybody.
Let's be clear about something on that note. I want everybody to be clear about something. And this is something that we don't talk about because obviously we try to be inclusive as far as everybody gets a say-so in this. Everybody needs to remember that this show, when we started this show, it was Tech and I. I wanted to do this podcast. Tech was really interested in doing the podcast. We started the podcast. But up until very recently, Tech did everything that had to do with this show as far as editing. I literally just showed up and offered ideas and conversation. So at the end of the day, realistically, the person who's actually, if you were to have to assign like one person that would be in charge of the show, right? In air quotes, it would be Tech. So
absolutely.
Whereas we do, some of us may get a little bit more vocal at times than Tech or something like that. Just remember that this show never would have come to fruition if not for him and him spending countless hours on each episode. I mean, each episode takes 2-3 hours minimum, in editing and things like that. And that's just minimum. That's just per episode. So multiply that times, how many episodes are we at now? 50, 60, 70, 80?
We're at, I think total release at current right now is 75.
So 75, multiply that times 3. So what are you looking at? 225 hours? That's just minimum too, by the way. That's just a very conservative bare minimum estimate. So think about that. So when you start talking about who controls it, yeah, I mean, we all have a say-so. We don't do anything. My name is the one who owns the Trek Talk server. However, everybody, the four of us, Boom, Tech, Handy, and I, we're all admins. We all have some say-so in it. But like I said, at the end of the day, ultimately, if Tech decides he wants to go in a different direction, we're sort of obligated to follow that. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. Also, I'd like to congratulate. Give me just a second. Sorry. I'm having to clear my throat here. I would like to congratulate MadamStarGazer on being our first moderator. We're going to start updating some rules here pretty soon so we can get a little bit more clear for some of the people that have some questions. Please keep PMing me. We definitely need more mods. And don't forget about the channel that I've created for emoji suggestions, because obviously we can create our own emojis now that we've boosted the server. So post some pictures in there that you want to see done. I already see some good ones in there.
I think we're gonna start T-shirts too.
Yeah, somebody's already created a T-shirt.
Yeah, I want to get involved in that though. I think that'd be fun. Create a
I think
little.
we're gonna do some.
I
I
think
think we
Chef
are.
already got some of those Carry the Hate Camel ones.
Yeah, he ordered one. He took the picture and
Yeah.
uploaded it to one of those sites. You can just put any picture you want.
Yeah, but I
So
think
he's got a
I think
Gary
I,
the Hate Camel T-shirt.
I think I would like to try to find some decent quality ones.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to try to find some that are a little bit better quality. And start doing some merchandising stuff to start, supporting the show so we can start doing more stuff. I'd really love to start doing giveaways, like actual giveaways.
Awesome.
Not like, oh, here's 800 Ultra Recruit tokens and you have to, do this, which is cool. Nothing against, DJs or anybody else that has been doing that or that does that. I think that's cool, but something we can actually send you, like Trek Talk coffee mug or hat or fucking shirt or, doing actual giveaways and stuff like that.
I think it'd be awesome if we earned enough to like give away a pack or something. Just like literally wire somebody $100 for a pack. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Or fucking pay a bill with it or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Obviously you could do whatever you want with it, but
See,
actually do some real giveaways.
You guys are far more mature than me because I immediately went to Trek Talk branded dildos so you could go fuck yourself.
we could do that too.
Gary the Hate Camel dildos
I like that.
with 2 humps. So, but anyway, yeah. And so here's the thing. I mean, if this for some reason does take off, and we are growing. I mean, this server is growing. If for some reason this does take off, I mean, you're crazy if you don't think we're going to start monetizing this thing if we can. And the more we can do that, the more we can offer. Giveaways and raffles and things like that. All the stuff that to try to give back to the people who have helped us along the way. Really put in a lot of work. And more especially try to actually start funneling some money to Tech to pay him back for all the IOUs we owe him for all the work that he's done. And Boom, in this case, Boom's doing a lot of work here as well. So try to do some of those things. Anyway, somebody come up here and talk about something else, goddammit. We're done.
We could just end the show here and go to the after party.
We could if we want to. My problem is this. Here's the thing, another thing I'm getting sick of before we end the show, because I want this to be recorded. I am quite sick and tired of some of you folks waiting until after the show to go in the after party to start shit because you're too afraid of being recorded. So if you disagree with something, come up here and talk to us about it so you can actually have your voice heard and it's recorded so people can hear the opposing viewpoint. Because
look, it would be nice to hear opposing viewpoints, but in the past, people have felt very attacked. I mean, I know that's their own fault, but people feel ganged up on, I think. Which is why I'll tell you this. I'll personally shut up if anybody from the opposite viewpoint wants to come up and talk. I won't say a damn thing. We'll let Boom interview him. He's on a different server.
I promise I'll be gentle.
I will also moderate Boom's dildoing of the people.
I don't think we should moderate that, Tech. I think we should just let that go.
I will referee Techman's moderation of Boom's dildos.
I'm gonna be Boom's cheerleader.
No, Handy, I need you to work the camera.
I could do that too. I'm good with the camera.
All right, now we're talking real monetization. Trek Talk OnlyFans.
Yes. Now we're talking.
For just the low subscription price of $12.99 a month, you too can see my auger's balls.
No, it's $99 a month.
We're not Scopely, bud.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of authority.
Scopely's OnlyFans is you paying $99.99 a month to look at pictures of yourself getting fucked.
That's accurate.
That's painfully accurate.
Yeah. All right. Well, nobody else wants to come talk. Everybody just wants to listen. All right. I guess we can end it here.
Yeah, we'll go to the after party.
I would
Sounds like
I would
Go ahead.
ask real quick that people think about like I overslept because spring forward, my bad. Next week I do want to at least talk a little bit about some ideas for the game, just because I find it interesting what people come up with. And we all know this game is stagnant as fuck as far as what Scopely's produced. So I'm just curious what other people think might truly help. So if you've had an idea kicking around in your head or whatever, please come chat about it, flesh it out, whatever. I want to have a small little discussion about that next week.
How about this? This is an idea that I've been kicking around, and now's a perfect time to introduce it. We have a recorded show every week. We're not really interested in doing any more recorded segments at this time because it is labor intensive, and you have two people that have full-time jobs that are involved in that. So we don't want to do that. But what I am interested in is if anyone has any ideas for some other weekly forums that we can hold. Other than Trash Talk. Trash Talk is basically just us hanging out, bullshitting. I mean, that's just basically what it is, just an open forum for us to bullshit and bring people up on stage and have discussions and stuff. It's very informal. But if you have anything else, we've already had Inko from Server 34 that wanted to do, he's already done like a crew type setup thing where they just discuss that type of thing, different crews in PvP. Anybody else that has anything they want to discuss to bring up, we're definitely willing to listen. At least I am willing to listen. And I haven't gotten the other three's take on this, but I'm sure I'll get it here in just a second when I'm done. But so you can host your own room, if you have subject matter. And that's what we want to do. We want to make it, a community experience where we can start talking about different things. So if you have an idea for a weekly segment, or if you just want to do a one-off, like, hey, on Thursday at 9 p.m. or 7 p.m., Pacific or whatever time slot, I'd like to do this because I want to talk about the best ships to use as you're leveling up, or I want to have a discussion about the crews, or if I only have this much time, what should I focus on, or if I'm budget, what should I do? So things like that. Please feel free to throw us some suggestions, because I think it would be really cool to have things going on all the time where people could just hop in and out. You know what I mean? More activity. So I don't know what do you three think of that?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. And I mean, there are certain things we could do to actually, I don't know, yeah, we can kick it around, but we can even formalize some of those things in terms of, well, not formalize, but if you do stuff like, okay, you're going to talk about crewing, you can then actually control it in terms of what you're talking about, and then having one person at a time ask questions, whatever, which means it could actually even be something that gets released without it being labor intensive. Because the only thing labor intensive about editing the podcast is you have multiple people speaking, you get, crosstalk, that sort of thing, that becomes a problem. Otherwise, to release a podcast isn't complex if people aren't talking over one another, and it would probably be a shorter show anyway. So yeah, like 15-minute blurb on here's how you crew a pylum to blow the fuck out of people, like blow up the fuck out of people.
Yeah, I was just gonna correct
I got the OnlyFans thing in my, it's
Yeah, it tracks.
but yeah.
Well, we know you're gonna order the first dildo.
What do you mean going to?
Or do you already have the prototype made up, don't you?
You know it.
It's his own custom design.
Yeah.
So
Better get a good camera handy.
Oh, I already have one.
Also, I would also like to say, in the meantime, we obviously have some voice channels already. So we have like a BS voice channel. I'll create another channel, and so that way you can have, you don't even have to use the soundstage. So if you just want to start discussing stuff, please feel free to use our voice channels. I really enjoy sometimes, even when I can't be on like Trash Talk or something like that, I'll still join in and listen, and I'd be really interested to hear what other people can do, or the subject matter that they can bring up. So anyway, we'll end it there, and we can discuss the rest of it in the after party.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I hope this has been fun. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, do all the things social media asks you to do. This has been Trek Talk. I'm TechMan16.
I'm Kirk.
And I'm Andy.
And I'm a rubber ducky.
I will see you guys next time.